If your feet feel cold before you have even finished your morning coffee, not cold like the room is chilly, but cold like the warmth simply stops somewhere around your ankles, that is not just poor circulation in a vague, general sense. That is your arteries telling you something specific. After 60, your body produces roughly half the nitric oxide it once did. Nitric oxide is the molecule that tells the walls of your arteries to relax and open up. When levels drop, blood moves slowly, tissues get less oxygen, and your feet and legs feel the effects first. The good news is that certain drinks, things you can make in your own kitchen, have been shown in controlled studies to raise nitric oxide levels by as much as 30% within a matter of hours. That is where we are starting today. Let me explain what is actually happening inside your arteries, because once you understand this, everything else makes more sense. Your arteries are lined with a thin layer of cells called the endothelium. In younger years, this lining constantly releases nitric oxide, which keeps blood vessels flexible and blood moving smoothly. As you age, that lining becomes less efficient. The result is that blood thickens slightly, vessels tighten, and the flow to your lower legs and feet slows down. Doctors sometimes call this endothelial fatigue. It is not just about clogged arteries. It is about a lining that has lost its ability to do its job. And what restores that ability, more reliably than most people realize, is specific plant compounds found in a handful of everyday drinks. The first drink is one most people already have at home and never think of as a circulation tool. Warm water with half a lemon squeezed in first thing in the morning. The vitamin C in lemon directly supports the enzyme your body uses to make nitric oxide. Without enough vitamin C, that enzyme slows down. A simple glass of warm lemon water wakes up that pathway before you have eaten a single bite of food. Seniors who make this a daily habit often notice within a week or two that the icy feeling in their toes fades faster after waking. It is a small habit, but your vessels respond to daily repetition. The second drink is ginger tea, and this one works differently. Ginger contains a compound called gingerol, which mildly reduces platelet stickiness, the tendency of blood cells to clump together and slow flow. It also has a gentle warming effect on the capillaries, which are the tiny vessels in your calf muscles and feet where nutrients actually exchange. Clinical comparisons have likened moderate ginger intake to a very mild aspirin effect on circulation, without the bleeding risks that come with daily aspirin use. Brew it fresh in 1 teaspoon of grated ginger steeped in hot water for 5 minutes. Sip it slowly and you will often feel a light warmth spreading through your lower legs. I want to tell you about something I see often with patients who have been dealing with cold feet and leg heaviness for years. A man I'll call Harold came in frustrated. He had tried compression socks, warmer shoes, everything. We talked through his daily habits and realized he was drinking mostly coffee and diet soda throughout the day, both of which can constrict blood vessels with overuse. We shifted him toward 2 of the drinks I am describing today, and within about 10 days he told me his legs felt noticeably lighter on his afternoon walks. Nothing dramatic, just steady, quiet improvement. That is exactly how these drinks work. The third drink is beet juice, and this is the most powerful one for raising nitric oxide directly. Beets are loaded with dietary nitrates. When you drink beet juice, the bacteria naturally present on your tongue convert those nitrates into nitrites, which your body then converts into nitric oxide in the bloodstream. A British study found that older adults who drank 1 glass of beet juice daily improved their walking distance by 17% over 2 weeks. The critical detail is this: the beet must be raw or very lightly processed. Cooking destroys the nitrates entirely. If the earthy taste is too strong, blending it with a small amount of apple or carrot softens it considerably without canceling the benefit. There are also 3 mistakes I see people make regularly that quietly cancel out everything they are doing right, and the third one is the one most people have never heard about. The first mistake is drinking commercial fruit juices thinking they are getting the same benefit as fresh juice. Bottled pomegranate juice and beet juice that are sweetened with added sugars actually trigger an inflammatory response in the vessel lining that counteracts the nitric oxide benefit. You need pure, unsweetened juice or fresh made. Read the label carefully. If sugar is listed in the first 3 ingredients, put it back. The second mistake is drinking too little water overall. Many people over 60 limit their fluid intake to avoid bathroom trips at night, and I completely understand that logic, but even mild dehydration thickens the blood. When blood becomes thicker, red blood cells have a harder time moving through narrow capillaries. That single change can add fatigue, leg heaviness, and cold feet independently of anything else going on. Staying well hydrated throughout the day is one of the simplest circulation supports that exists. The third mistake and this is the one most people never connect to circulation, is high sodium intake. Salt causes the body to retain fluid and raises blood pressure, but it also directly stiffens blood vessel walls and reduces their ability to respond to nitric oxide. If you are drinking all the right things, but salting your food heavily or eating a lot of packaged foods, you may be working against yourself without knowing it. The target is under 2 grams of sodium per day. That is less than 1 teaspoon of table salt, counting everything you eat. The fourth drink worth building into your day is pomegranate juice. Pomegranate works through a completely different mechanism than beet juice, which is why combining them is so effective. Pomegranate polyphenols suppress an enzyme that normally breaks down nitric oxide in your bloodstream. Essentially, it makes the nitric oxide you already have last longer. Research in heart health populations found that half a cup of pure pomegranate juice daily improved blood flow response by around 30% over 3 months. The effect compounds over time. Unlike some supplements that plateau, quickly, consistent pomegranate intake continues to build. The fifth drink is green tea, specifically for what it does to the flexibility of artery walls. A compound in green tea called EGCG activates the same cellular pathway that gentle aerobic exercise does. It tells the endothelium to produce more nitric oxide and stay elastic. 1 cup in the morning and 1 in the afternoon keeps that effect active throughout the day. For people who are currently drinking 2 or 3 cups of coffee daily, replacing the afternoon coffee with green tea often produces a noticeable reduction in leg heaviness by evening. Coffee in moderation has some circulatory benefits, but excess caffeine constricts vessels. Green tea gives you the benefit without that trade-off. For evenings, 2 drinks stand out. Tart cherry juice, taken before bed, contains anthocyanins, the pigments that give cherries their deep color, and these compounds reduce inflammation inside artery walls. They also naturally support melatonin production, which improves sleep quality. Better sleep means lower blood pressure fluctuations overnight, and that is when the body does most of its vascular repair. Many people who add tart cherry juice before bed find that nighttime leg cramps decrease within 10 to 14 days. The other evening option is real cocoa, unsweetened cocoa powder made with hot water and your choice of milk. The flavonols in genuine cocoa directly stimulate nitric oxide production in vessel linings. One well-known trial found that older adults drinking high flavonol cocoa showed measurable improvements in walking speed within a month. The effect was strongest when paired with even a short walk because muscle contraction during movement amplifies nitric oxide release. This is worth remembering. Motion and these drinks work together. A 10-minute walk after your largest meal, combined with the right drink earlier in the day, produces more benefit than either one alone. The most potent combination, based on the research available, is blending beet and pomegranate together. When the nitrates from beet meet the nitric oxide protecting polyphenols from pomegranate, the combined effect on blood flow is significantly greater than either one separately. For home use, blend half a raw beet with a 1/4 cup of pure pomegranate juice and enough water to make it drinkable. Studies in adults over 60 showed measurable increases in blood flow velocity within 2 hours of drinking this combination. The most recent research in this area has reinforced one important idea: nitric oxide does not store in the body. It has to be remade continuously. That means one good day of drinking beet juice does nothing lasting on its own. What changes your circulation over time is the steady daily signal you send your vessels through consistent habits. After about 4 weeks of daily use, arteries actually begin to remodel slightly by becoming measurably more flexible. That structural change is what makes the improvement feel permanent rather than temporary. If you take one thing from everything shared here today, let it be this: the lining of your arteries responds to what you give it every single day, and specific plant-based drinks have real measurable power to help that lining do its job better. You do not need to do all 8 drinks at once. Start with 2 that feel manageable. Warm lemon water in the morning and beet juice at lunch are a strong foundation. Add from there as it becomes natural. Harold, by the way, eventually built a full daily routine around these drinks and told me he had stopped dreading his afternoon walks. That quiet shift, from dreading movement to enjoying it, is what better circulation actually feels like in real life. Tonight, before bed, try a small cup of warm tart cherry juice or unsweetened cocoa. It is a simple way to start the overnight repair process your arteries are ready to do. They just need the right support. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Have you noticed your feet or legs getting worse in certain seasons or at certain times of day? And if you have tried any of these drinks before, which one made the biggest difference for you? Share it in the comments. Your experience is genuinely useful to others reading this, and I read every single one.